What's the last thing somebody says after a long-winded story that you're supposed to be fascinated by, but really clearly aren't? Oh, I guess you had to be there, right? Remember that? I guess you had to be there. And you know what? They're right. Being there definitely makes all the difference in the world. So it is a shame it happens so rarely in trials, even murder trials. But you know what? It's now happened twice in Karen Reed's trials for allegedly killing her police officer boyfriend, John O'Keefe. Just like the jury in her first trial, jurors in the retrial paid a visit to 34 Fairview Road in Canton, Massachusetts. That is where Reed dropped her boyfriend off after a day of bickering over text and a night of drinking, and it is where John O'Keefe died. Now, how he died, the cause of death, all very interesting questions. Allegedly, prosecutors say, after being hit by Reed's Lexus. But jurors examined the distance from the spot where O'Keefe's body was found to the house where his cop buddies were partying that night. They also saw the alleged murder weapon with a busted taillight. The lawyers were there too, of course, defense, prosecution. But even though Reed herself had gotten permission to go, she declined, saying, "I don't ever want to go back to 34 Fairview," she said. And look, I can't blame her. I'm joined right now, though, by Flint McColgan, police and courts reporter for the Boston Herald, who did make the trip today, paid very close attention. Thanks so much for joining us, Flint. So you went to 34 Fairview 2. Where exactly, though, where was the press located? And I guess what could or couldn't you see?
So it was the same situation as last year in the first trial. We were at a cross street, and there was like half a very long suburban block away. So I couldn't quite see the faces of the jurors, but, they were, I could see the lawyers pointing out things that they wanted jurors to pay attention to. And so hopefully that was helpful to the jurors. We'll see how it goes.
What was your takeaway? I mean, I guess one of the big takeaways is, what should we be thinking about, if you can tell us, the distance from where John O'Keefe's body was found to maybe the front door, maybe the distance to the house? Because there's two different theories here, right? He was either hit by Karen Reed's SUV, or he went into the house, was beat up, and then left to die outside. What is the distance from the body to the front door?
So it is a sizable front yard. It's well above average in my experience of suburban front yards. And I don't know exactly how many feet or something, but it is off to the very edge of the property line. So it's quite a distance. If you're looking in that photo there, I mean, those people milling about, they're still really far. So it's quite a distance, but where he was found was very close to the roadway over where that flagpole is and the fire hydrant there. And it's quite a distance from the front door.
So in other words, that seems to help the prosecution?
It could, certainly when you see how close it is to the roadway. But if you are going to take the defense's theory that there was a cover-up and they wanted to make it look that way, obviously you would put it as close to the road as possible. So it's a give or take, really, on that.
It washes itself out.
Exactly.
Okay, let me ask you about this, though. The jury heard about Karen's blood alcohol content today.
Yes.
And the defense pushed hard that the test used is different from the forensic test that was used in a court of law. Let's play a little bit of that, actually.
You testified earlier today that your lab is accredited by CAP, which is the College of American Pathologists. Do you recall that testimony?
Yes, I do.
But CAP is a clinical laboratory accreditation, not a forensic accreditation, right?
We don't have the forensic accreditation for Good Samaritan.
In fact, Good Samaritan has never been investigated or accredited by any forensic accreditation team to ensure that you perform all of your tests with the integrity necessary to support results in court, right?
We've never had the forensic accreditation, but we have very good quality lab results, which I could go into further.
But you've never been accredited by a forensic accreditation team, right?
No.
What do you think the jury took away from that?
So that testimony was quite interesting in that it wasn't very interesting, other than the takeaway of that, even hours after she allegedly killed John O'Keefe, her blood alcohol was above what's the legal limit, and that's even hours of sobering up afterwards. But the weird thing about it is how nearly underplayed that was. We had a very long lecturing about the process and the chemistry about how you do blood extractions, and I could see, the jurors looking back and forth. Their eyes were getting, a little heavy, I believe. And it wasn't till the end, and then Adam Lally, who was questioning that witness, was just, what were the results? And then he quit questioning, and it was just like, it just didn't really seem to land. It probably took a few seconds for people to realize, oh, well, he just gave some important information there.
Was the jury paying attention to the last witness of the day, called by the prosecution, this firefighter, this paramedic who rode with Karen Reed to the hospital? What did he have to say?
Yeah, it would be very hard for them not to pay attention to that, because it was testy between the lawyers. I don't think I can remember, at least so far in this trial, maybe the last one is different, but so far in this trial, I haven't seen that many objections. There were 4 different sidebars to discuss the parameters of what he was allowed to talk about. And it all came down to this. The prosecution really wants the jurors to believe that a statement that Karen Reed made in the ambulance as she was being taken for a psych evaluation after John O'Keefe had already been transported, she had said that according to this witness, that she was really worried because her last words, specifically that phrase, to John O'Keefe were ones of anger. And so the prosecution...
Okay. I say, all right, I get it. I get where they're going. Yeah. I get it. The idea of tumultuous relationship, incentive to harm him. I get it. All right, Flint McColgan, thanks so much for taking the time. Appreciate it.
Yep, okay, thank you.
You got it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.